Look, we're stuck in the system, we can't get out. It's time for a change, stop running your mouth. I'm looking for words, but I can't get it out. Look for the light, but the sun blotted out.
Hold on, let me hop on the beat. Cause social injustice and prisoner mindset is something we gotta defeat. We idle these hoes and wear all these clothes with shoes that can't be creased. Steady looking for substance and change, but we searching all up in these streets.
Got a stain on my shirt that I can't get out. My people on high like the top of the mount. We thirsting for truth, but there's no spout. Look for a savior, but no one around.
But no one's around, but where do they look? It ain't in the church, it ain't in the book. We can't get a job, so we rather crook. They got us some change, a fish on a hook.
Look, harvesting our bodies, harvesting our organs. Got them real big mad, cause they culture boring. Pimping the poor, Jim Crow at the door. Selling our souls, our daughters a whore. I wanna give in, can't take it no more. Don't wanna believe our people are more.
We swept our cup when we look at decline. We got a new bottle, it's filled with...
Hello, all my Macam people. Welcome to another Macam Make a Culture Move podcast, where we cover everything from intense social topics to new social trends. We are your hosts, Mark Jonathan,
Tabitha,
G.
And as always, we have an interesting podcast for you all today. But before we get started, if we could have our brief disclaimer.
All right, so here at the Make a Culture Move podcast, aka Macam, we talk about a lot of controversial issues and things of that nature that do not represent Macam as a whole. So I hope you keep that in mind as we dive into our podcast.
Absolutely. And with that being said, let's go ahead and hop right into it. I was really excited reading the topic today.
So y'all, lately I've been on the Clubhouse wave and, seeing what people have been talking about in Clubhouse, and, the controversy and things like that gets sparked by certain conversations. And recently a topic that I heard about was, why do women choose the good guy last? And, I just kind of want to start this conversation off by asking, you see that question right there? It says, what is a good guy and what is a good woman? Do they belong together? And a lot of what was being said was a lot of women were like, well, no one really wants the good guy because he's boring, he's this, that. And so I'm like, okay, so we need to come to a common understanding of what is a good guy. I could go last, but Mark, and what is a good girl? Mark, what's a good girl?
You want me to answer both or just the girl part?
You answer both.
Both.
Okay, I'll start with the guy. My connection is going in and out, so let me know if I ever. But okay, so a good guy is, I'm gonna say, as far as like being grown or whatever, you feel me, in that type of aspect, you feel me. So I'm gonna say a good guy is a provider. He can, and most importantly, I think the biggest thing is he can actually teach something. That's what I feel like a lot of guys, they're only at a certain level in life where they can't really do nothing for a female, you feel me, other than, stuff that I won't necessarily get into. But that's where I would probably leave the good guy. As far as good girl, I'm gonna say someone who's independent, but not in a sense that they're like don't want somebody. I feel like a good girl is also someone who's willing to be taught, willing to follow, nurturing, and then I'll end it with that. And as far as do they belong together, of course.
Okay. G?
I don't know. I don't know what I would consider a good girl or a good guy, because it's like, what are we considering good?
That's
you
the
know,
thing. We all have different perceptions of what it is to be good. So that's why this question is a good
exactly. So it's like I don't know. I don't know. I guess it just depends. Like, you know, it's such a broad question and topic when, you know, thinking about it, because like me, you know, I don't just want good. Good is like mediocre to me. What's the word? Equate good with like mediocre. So I want someone that's not mediocre, which means I don't want somebody that's good. So I guess it depends on how are we defining the word good. Like what is the definition when we're saying good? Like what is good?
Okay, so I have a question.
Go ahead.
So, do you know what a bad guy is?
I mean, in whose eyes? In whose eyes are we looking through? You feel me? Whose eyes are we looking through as far as the word bad? Because you know what is
They're not
bad?
the same though.
What'd you say?
They're not the same though. I think we have like a very like general consensus of what a bad guy is. You feel me? Or am I wrong in thinking that?
I mean, but how are we defining bad? How are we defining bad?
That's gonna be the next question. Y'all jumping the gun. Let's just stick with what we're talking about right now. I'm gonna go ahead and address the question. What is a good guy? From my point of view, a good guy is somebody who is a provider, and you could be a provider but also be a bad guy. So I don't want to, you know, just put the good guy as being the man that's a provider, because a good guy is the person that abides by the rules. Somebody that is a rule follower, somebody that is fulfilling his role as a man, you know, because you know, some could argue that a bad guy is somebody that also fulfills the role of a man, but that is not true. If you're sitting at home eating cereal in your boxers all day playing video games, you are not a good guy. You don't even qualify as being a good guy. You don't even make the cut at all. So
I think you could be a good guy, but you're not a man. You know, you don't have the qualities and characteristics of what it takes to be a man. You know, you could be a good guy sitting at home on the couch eating cereal because you're a good guy. Maybe you cook at home. Maybe you feel me. You're good with the kids. Maybe, but you're not a man. So it's like you can't be that provider if you're just sitting at home and eating the cereal and you're not, you know, bringing in any type of income, but you're respectful. You know, you're respectful. You don't disrespect me. You don't put your hands on me. You're kind. You're sweet. But you sit at home on your ass all the time, and you're not bringing in any type of providing.
That's what I'm saying. A good guy is a man. A good guy is a man. I feel like when you're not a good guy or a man, you fall into those childish tendencies that we see all the time around us in our community. We don't have. And the thing is, like, I watched this guy named Kevin Samuels. He is always going in on Black women. He's like, y'all slept, y'all need to get it together. And we all claim that we want a high-ranking a man in society with a high stature, but we never seem to amount to that man. And that's why that question is, what is a good guy? Because we all have different perceptions of what that is. And so I feel like if you want a good guy, being a good girl, which is the next one, what is a good girl? A good guy wants a good girl, a woman that's going to fulfill her role. A bad guy wants a woman that's basically out of order. He doesn't give a damn, and she doesn't give a damn, because that way they're not unequally yoked together. When you are, let's say you're a thug, you know. That's why I forget this dude's name. He has like one eye, but he's like, she's my trap queen. So he knows where he knows where he's at. You know what I'm saying? He would be what I would call a bad guy. And a trap queen is what I would call a bad girl, because by definition, you know, if we're playing semantics of what the definition of what a queen is married to a king. She is a married woman. But if she's his trap queen, she's a queen with the A. She's that woman that's out of order, you know, that woman that's, you know, just out of whack. So I think, you know, does a good guy and a good girl belong together? Absolutely, because it goes back to what I was saying. You don't want to be with somebody who you're unequally yoked to. It doesn't make sense to be in a relationship with somebody that doesn't meet your expectations or where you're at in your life. That's like Kevin Samuel says, you guys want men that are a part of the 1%, somebody that has a career, that doesn't have children, that's also ready to get married. But you guys are the women that typically call his show. You are 35 years old, you're overweight, and you have 2 kids, but you want a man that's high ranking. It doesn't make sense, because if you're at a certain level, you want that person that's either right there with you or like a little bit below you. You know what I'm saying? I think that when it comes to, and Kevin Samuels makes this argument, I semi disagree, because a man does care what the woman is bringing to the table. He'd be like, a man doesn't really care about how educated you are. Some don't, but I know a lot do, especially if they're educated themselves. So
I know, to that point, like in our generation, you know, everybody has a baby mama and baby daddy or multiple. And it's like, how is that? That's not, I'm not with that, because it's like, I personally, I don't like talking to dudes that have kids, because I don't have kids. So it's like, we can't really relate on that same, we're not on the same level, we're not even in the same lane, because you have kids and I don't. You're a parent and I'm not. So you do things that where you have to think about your kids. I don't think about kids. I don't have to think about kids, because I don't have kids to think about. So the only person I'm thinking about is me. Whereas somebody who has kids, man or a woman, you get into a relationship with that person or dealing with that person, you can't just think about the person. You have to think about them and their kids, because they come as a package and as a unit. And so it's like, you know, type of saying, you have to get with people who are on your level. And it's almost everybody in our generation wants somebody who doesn't have a kid, but they all have 1, 2, or 3. And it's like, how are you, man? You're not making now. You're trying to take the people who don't have kids away from the people who don't have kids. And you're trying to be selfish because you already got 2, 3 kids. And you're trying to take somebody who don't got kids. Like, how? It's selfish. It's so
Let me say this, though, because I'm not saying that, you know, it's not okay for a man. The difference is, right, when a woman has kids, right, typically a woman and a man have kids, because, you know, it takes 2 to tango. When a woman and a man have kids together, no matter if those people do not stay together, typically the mother always wants full custody, and the children are always with the mother. The father in that situation is always the part-time parent. So yes, that man comes with kids, but does he have his kids all the time? Like,
and that's the issue. Me, if you're not putting your kids first, you can't put me first. Your kids are your DNA. They're your genetics. They're your seedlings. They're who God bless you with to fulfill your legacy.
That's conflicting, because the thing is, this is how I'm gonna put it, right? This is exactly how I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna put it relational to something that I've been through, because in the past I've dated a guy that had a daughter, you know, and he always wanted to be number one in his daughter's life, but that wasn't something that was possible because of the complications that the mother was creating for him. So I have no problem with being a stepmother. Will I ever take the place of your actual mother? No, I won't. But the thing is, because I love your father, I'm gonna be in your life. Like,
don't holler at me if your baby mom's is alive. Don't do it. Don't even do it. Don't holler at me if your baby mom's is alive, because women come with so much complications. They come with so many rules. They don't like other women dealing with their kids. It's always an issue. It's always a problem and something that happens. And with me personally, when I'm in a relationship, I expect my man to put me first because I'm going to put him first. And I cannot respect the man who doesn't put his children first. And you can't be with me if you're not putting me first, but I can't respect you if you're not putting your children first. Therefore, we not going to click.
But what if he's a good guy?
I don't care. I don't care. Good guy, bad guy, mediocre guy, great guy, millionaire, poor. I don't care who you are. Don't holler at me if your baby mom's is alive. Let me see that death certificate.
I disagree with that, because what if you were in a, like, you are somebody that's willing to commit, right? And you've been in a marriage before, you've been married before, and things just did not work out, and you're no longer married, but you have 2 children, right? So does that make you?
Now, if the other person has kids, I'm not saying for somebody, like, if you have kids and somebody else has kids, that's different because y'all both have kids. You're bringing kids. You are both bringing kids to the table. But if I don't have no kids at all, none, and you have kids, and we're coming to the table to on an agreement thing, I can't expect you to put me before your children because that's your family. That's your family. You have to put your kids first. Though that's your family. Those are your seeds. Now, if I have kids and you have kids, then we're coming to agreements to, you feel me? My kids come first, your kids come first. If my kids don't like you, that's a problem. If your kids don't like me, that's a problem. We got to try to figure something out. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Me and my kids gonna go. You and your kids gonna go. It's gonna part and be ways. But when, I don't know, it's a lot. I don't do kids. Fuck them kids. That's my motto. I say it every day.
I love kids. I don't know. That's just.
I love them as long as I could give them back to who they belong to.
Hey, I'm different. I'm like just different. I love kids. The thing is though, back to what we're talking about, though, a good guy is gonna want to be in his kid's life. If you get a baby daddy, you know,
and I respect him for that. I respect a good guy for wanting to be in his kid's life. You can't be my man because I'm going to expect you to put your kids first, but I have to come first in the relationship, and unless we have kids together. If we have kids together, then our kids come first because they're ours. And I can't respect the man who doesn't put his kids first, but I have to come first. So that's where the confliction comes in. And that's why I don't like talking to dudes who have kids. Because I know it's a confliction. So to avoid that confliction, I stick to dudes who don't have kids. Therefore, I don't have to worry about that confliction.
See, it doesn't. I don't know. I just feel like I'm different.
And that's fine. You feel me? That's fine. Some women are okay with that. Me personally, I'm not.
So here's the next question then. What is a bad guy? And do opposites attract? Because a lot of sisters be like, you know, a bad guy brings that excitement into my life, and that's what I want. I want a life that has excitement in it. And sometimes, you know, bad guys don't have kids, but they bring that excitement factor into your life.
I mean, opposites definitely attract. You know, we learned that in science in elementary school, that opposites attract. But you know, a bad guy, you know, takes me back to what is a good guy, you know? How are we defining the word? How are we defining bad? Like, you know, the main characteristics, of course, you don't want somebody who belittles and demeans you. You don't want somebody who is abusive towards you, whether that's mental abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, spiritual abuse, any type of abuse, verbal abuse, any type of abuse, that somebody is giving you, whether it's a man or a woman, qualifies them as a bad person. So you shouldn't be taking abuse from anybody. That's definitely bad. A man who ain't about his money, you know, he's not a provider. He doesn't bring income to the table. That's a bad guy because a man is supposed to provide. A man who is a follower, not a leader, like that's a bad guy because a man is supposed to lead. You feel me? A man he's supposed to be headstrong and take forth the path so for a woman to follow. Yeah, you know, a bad guy is a bad guy is a liar and a hypocrite. Says one thing but does another. You know, it's a lot that goes into, you know, what a bad guy
is. Mark, what's a bad guy, Mark? Marky Mark.
The Marky. Gotta go.
You already know how I'm about to come. I had to stop myself. I was about to, you know.
All right, but I mean, definitely along the lines of what G was already saying. Definitely, I'll highlight just some of the things she said. If they're not about their money, you know, being hypocritical is one of my pet peeves. Consistency is another big piece of that. Or a lack of, I'm sorry, would be to answer that question. And as far as do opposites attract, I'm gonna say, I mean, yes, of course, I definitely found myself in situations where I was, you know, in a good mindset and allow myself to be pulled in by that negativity. And I'll just talk very generally. You know, there's just something about, you know, I call it a challenge personally. It's just something about it that make me intrigued per se. But now that I'm, you know, in this sort of place where I'm just more looking for a vibe, it's like really hard for me to attract to something opposite of that. You feel me?
By your vibe, I don't understand that.
Like, connecting energies. You know, somebody who's on the same page as you, on the same beat as you. Yeah, you know, somebody.
But it's like
it's a vibe. I don't even know how to describe a vibe. It's just a vibe. It's being able to connect with somebody on many different levels, many different levels, without having to, you know, romanticize about it. But if it does get romanticized, it's okay. It's okay if it does, but it's not forced. It's not the main subject. It's not the the gear.
When I hear looking for a vibe, this is just I see you looking for a vibe. You're looking for somebody who you can entertain, but not be committed to.
And let me explain why that is, because I definitely agree with that. I'm not gonna lie. Mostly because what you gotta listen, like relationships, like relationships nowadays have been like just so toxic, you feel me? And it's like as soon as you add obligations to this generation, that's when they start acting like, at least in my experiences, let me first say that, like as soon as obligations have happened, like it's been no follow through. So I'd rather just, and another thing, while we on the topic, when I was 15 through 17, you know, doing whatever I was doing and, you know, being this kind of like inconsistent type of dude that we're talking about, like I was finding every situation I was in, it was like the girl was trying to marry me or something. But now that I'm a gentleman and actually can be in a good position to be a good boyfriend, like nobody acts right. So
you missed your opportunity. but I'm gonna say this, right? Because the problem with a lot of times with, you know, people just hooking up, so to speak, and having no commitment, no strings attached, what happens is people get that other person impregnated, because that's what sperm does. It goes through the womb or the whatever glands and whatever, and it connects to that egg, and then a baby is produced. And then that's what happens when we want to talk about toxicity. The toxicity in our community is that we have single parent households where two people came together without any expectations, without any strings attached, and then they want to have sex, but they don't want the kids.
Most people have kids by somebody they barely even know, barely even like.
Because they're looking for a vibe. That's what that is.
See, and I believe you can vibe without any sexual intercourse at all. You can vibe without having sex at all. So it's all about motives and intentions. But
let's be honest though. Let's be real. When we say we're looking for a vibe, are we looking for somebody just to hang out with and cool with, and that person would be our friend? Because then that person could just be a friend. It's not really a vibe. Of course, you have a vibe in between two people who are actually friends, but then you have a vibe that's between two people who are also friends with benefits. They're having sex together, but they want to be friends. They want to be friends and have those benefits on the side, but they don't want to actually commit to each other. And that kind of takes marriage and all those things that are honorable out of the equation, because you're focused on a vibe. You're focused on, sticking it in and getting it in, and that's it. And then when a baby is produced, this is somebody who you actually care about and all this stuff. But because of that lack of commitment, that relationship, that friendship becomes toxic, because you didn't really take the time to, prove a friend. You just were, you were getting it in and were happy with doing that. And because that person wasn't being held accountable for their actions, they were completely fine with that, because at the end of the day, I could still do whatever the hell I want to do, and you're not going to hold me accountable for the stuff that I'm doing.
Me personally, when I'm looking for a vibe, I'm looking for friends, and I'm very vocal about that when I say it. I'm looking for nothing more than a friendship in this. And
wait, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Is that just friends and you cut it there, or that's a kind of a personal question? But
hell yeah, you're just friends, and we cutting in there, because I'm not looking for anything else, and I'm very vocal about that. I make it known from jump. I am not looking for a boyfriend. I am not looking for a relationship. I'm looking for somebody who can get to know me as a friend. And if it goes somewhere after that, then it does, and we can cross that bridge when we get there. But if we can't vibe as friends, then we're never going to get there. We're never going to get to that bridge. And you can't cross imaginary bridges. You can't cross a bridge that doesn't exist. And so, you feel me? With me, you feel me? Let's vibe and see if we can be friends. If we actually like each other. Because I say some outlandish stuff sometimes. Stuff just falls out of my mouth sometimes. And when you get in a relationship with somebody, immediately stuff like that kind of it triggers people. It's like, whoa, hold on, because I didn't know you were like this. But if you take a couple months to get to know somebody and vibe with them, to get to know them as a friend, then it's like, if it does, you do get to that bridge and you cross there and something happened, it's like, yeah, I already know you was like that. You feel me? That's why we here now, because I like that about you. Because I like that about you, and that's why we're here now. So that's me. But in speaking to our generation, to Tabitha's question, and speaking to the generation, most people are looking for a vibe because they're looking for a quick nut, and that's real. They're looking for something quick, and that's the majority of our generation.
And I'm a unicorn in a sense, because I had the pleasure of being raised by my great grandparents, in a sense, you know what I'm saying? And that there's always that thing that they used to say, anything worth having is worth waiting for. Sex and all that, having a quick, everything quick isn't good for you. Fast food isn't good for you, because it's something that's quick and it suffices your hunger and all that stuff. A quick nut, all praises. You could get yourself off and keep it moving. If that's the case, that just does not make sense to me. Just, me being somebody that was living that quote unquote type of lifestyle of looking for that quick thing and then kind of moving on, it never worked, because there'll be times where you do want that, but then you have to go through the channels of trying to have to find that and you still want to have that consistent person. So it doesn't make sense at all, because at the end of the day, because there is no commitment, that person could go and sleep with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other people, and then they contract an STD, and then they give it to you, and then they have to give you that call like, girl, let me just tell you, I burned you. And it sounded a little bit too personal, but these are the facts. And this is stuff that I've actually been through. So me personally, I would rather actually get to know you and have that commitment being in the equation, because at the end of the day, there's a certain level of accountability that you have to put into the equation. When there's no accountability, people do whatever the hell they want to do. Pregnancy comes into the picture, STDs come into the picture. And I just think that us as a people, we've been through too much to put ourselves in that situation.
I just wanted to speak to Lorenzo's comment when he said excitement in a relationship can come from traveling together, doing fun stuff together. I think a lot of girls equate excitement with drama and abuse. I agree and disagree with that one, because it's not just girls who equate excitement with drama and abuse. It's guys too, because the guys are just as drama felt as females are. But Mark, that's not okay. They are just in a different way. The difference between guy drama and girl drama is that guys fight and get over it. Girls fight and want to fight and want to fight and want to fight and want to fight
until they win.
Exactly. They never want to let it go. You feel me? We're still fighting about stuff from 10 years ago. Where dudes, they fight and it's like, all right, bro, you good? All right, me too. And it's done and it's over with, and then they're cool after that. But excitement, it has to come from many different areas of life. And that's why with me, I need to see how exciting you can be as my friend. Because if we can do exciting stuff together as a friend, then the sky's the limit if we get in a relationship with each other. I like excitement. You feel me? I like adventure. I like fun stuff. I like anything that's gonna give me a story to tell. Period. If I can have a story to tell after this, then I pretty much had a good time. I have a story to tell. I don't care if the story's good. I don't care if the story's bad. I have a story to tell from something that we just did. And it's something that I can tell to almost anybody, old people, kids, people in my generation, because it's not sexual at all. It's just something to tell. We did something. Something happened, whether we went hiking or we just went walking in the park, or was something exciting to happen that has nothing to do with sex. Because I think a lot of time our generation equate excitement with sex. And it's like, there is excitement in it if you can find excitement in it with one person in many different ways. But how exciting is it when you're sharing with multiple people? And what people tend to forget is that when a dude is sleeping with multiple females, he's throwing off all of their pH balances, all of them. So it's like, people don't think about these things, but it's so much more to sex than just sex. It's the soul tie behind it. It's the soul tie behind it, and I think a lot of people don't even believe in the soul tie, but soul ties are real. When you have sex with somebody, you guys are becoming a part of each other. Your souls are intertwining with each other in some way, fashion, or form, and sex transfers energies. So if you're having sex with somebody who has a bad spirit and a bad energy, you can pick up on that. And it becomes prevalent within you if you weren't like that before. And now you're starting to develop and feel all these different things, feelings that you've never had before. It's because the person that you were, having sex with, their energies and have transferred to you through sex. And it's real. Like, it happens.
It's very real. That's why I'm telling you, that's why, this is me, right? I'm not having sex with just anyone, and the thing is, I'm not even having sex. I'm getting to know someone, and the day that we do come together and we become one flesh, and our spirits intertwine with each other, that's a forever connection. Because I could honestly say the first time, and everybody, I'm pretty sure this is like a universal thing, and maybe it's not, but the first time that you have sex with someone, you love that person harder and more than anyone you've ever dealt with in that same manner, because it's spiritual. It is a spiritual thing. You guys are people, men and women were not meant to just we're gonna bump uglies. I'm gonna get off and I'm gonna keep it moving. We were never created to be like that, ever. If you believe in the Bible, you believe in, God or whatever, God did not create a man and a woman to be alone. And God did not create a man and a woman to just have sex with each other and to keep it moving. Never did God do that. For the Bible speaks up against fornication, which means just having sex, which is a lot of what this generation does. And that's why I'm so glad and happy that I have had good examples in my life to show me what it is to be a wife and what it is to really be with someone 100% and not just to have that person to fulfill some type of sexual lust. And yes, amalgamation. That is my word. Amalgamation. You amalgamate with that person, which is like a chemical reaction to where you guys become one. There's no way for you to mix chemicals together and then unmix them unless you like work in some type of engineering place where you could like separate molecules and stuff like that. But even then, the molecule adapts certain character traits.
It's not fully separated. It's never fully separated. It's modified in some type of way. Every time. It's just, I don't know. It's real, y'all.
There's a video that I do want to play because I love hearing Black men talk about what it is to be a good man. I love hearing Hispanic men talk about it, but y'all, I could not find any videos on that. They're like, hey, we keep it adentro, in the family. We don't take it afuera. It is what it is, okay? All right. So this Black man talks about relationships. He's married, which is like a good thing because he knows from experience. He's not just guessing on what it means to be a good man because he's trying to take up those attributes of what it is to be a good man. So let's get into it, y'all. Let's get into it. I like his hair. It's natural. Not saying that most men aren't natural, but I like it.
I wanted to lighten things up and talk about some of the good qualities that you may find in a man. Some of the things or traits that you may witness that signify his decency rather than his deceit. These are 10 qualities of a good man. Number 1, they understand the responsibility that they have to protect. You cannot stop a good man from protecting you. And some of y'all know what I'm talking about. A good man will never let you endanger yourself. You can't piss him off enough for him to stop caring about your safety. You can be arguing really bad at night. You can be steaming mad and say something like, well, I'm going to go take a walk. I need to get away from you. He'll look you dead in your eye and be like, well, I guess we taking a walk then. It's 12 o'clock at night. Ain't no way in hell I'm going to let you walk around here by yourself just because you mad. You might as well take your butt in the bedroom and go cool off. He never comes outside of his protection mode. And he will never let you endanger yourself. He will, however, endanger himself if it means protecting his woman or his family. Because nothing makes a good man feel more worthless than not being able to protect the people he loves. Number 2.
Okay, I'm skipping.
They are providers. Ain't no good man sleeping on the couch all day, scratching his ass while you go out and work for the family. He has something to put in. There are some good stay-at-home dads, but those are special arrangements, and that's a whole nother video. My point is, good men always want to bring something to the table. As a father and husband, I can personally tell you that nothing makes me feel more useless than empty pockets. With that said, the 10th and final sign that I'll cover in this video of a good man is they take pride in their woman's pleasure. Everything from her general happiness in life to her sexual satisfaction is his concern. They want to make you smile and leave you slay. Good men always want you to be happy, unless they're not happy. But that's another video.
So yes, I love that video. I love it because he talks about what it is to be a good guy. If you guys got to have time, definitely go check that video out. But at the end of the day, he touches on what a good man is. You know, he's a protector. He's a provider. And that's a lot of That's something that we need. But also, just because somebody's protective and providing does not make that person a good person, a good man. Because you could be overly protective and not only beating your wife's ass, but beating people's ass that even look at her. You know what I'm saying? And you could be a provider, but how are you providing? You know what I'm saying? Are you selling drugs? Are you are you a pimp? Are you pimping out people to provide a certain lifestyle for your wife? My uncles, definitely that's my background. That's the lifestyle that I was accustomed to growing up. My uncles were pimps and everybody else was pretty much hoes, other than my great grandparents and my great aunties and my great uncles and my family that lives down south. That they provided, but the way that they provided was not the way that a man should be providing for a woman. And you're teaching your daughters and the younger ones under you that's the way to make money. And that's the type of man that you want. Somebody that's going to beat you, in order to keep you in line and in order to provide a certain lifestyle so that you can be accustomed to, one, abuse, but two, to the type of money that you get the wrong way. Like I was saying earlier, she's my trap queen. You're a trap queen. That you're not a queen by any means, because guess what? There's no real commitment that's in that relationship. A queen is somebody that's married to a king. You're not married to a king. A king is somebody that gets it the right way, not somebody that gets it any kind of way by any means necessary. Yeah. So that's my take on that. I don't know if my people have anything to say about that. My crew.
Mark.
I mean, I would definitely agree with most of what Tabitha said. I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of what we said in the beginning. The general conception of what a good man is will vary between, person to person. But for me, it's everything of what the guy said, to the not having money in his pockets, to being protective in a loving way. It's hard to really argue with what he was saying. No, I don't want to necessarily. Okay, as far as like the whole trap goes, you feel me? I understand fully what you're saying. It's just
a complicated issue because there's other factors as to why people do that, but that is like a general consensus of what a toxic work ethic is. Like when it comes to like distributing drugs to your own community and how it's destroying your people and destroying people that look like you and destroying your community, because a lot of times in the hood or in the trap or however you want to put it, there's people that are high on drugs, people that are drunk all the time, the sad thing about that is alcohol is legal. So that's why people, run to that. But I'm just basically saying, that's not the type of man that you want to influence your children and that you want to create a healthy relationship with, because at the end of the day, everything around that man is toxic. And let's say that he falls behind or he somehow loses the drugs, they're going to come after you, because at the end of the day, you're a liability for him. So that's a whole nother thing, though.
And that's why marriage is important, because you can't contest against partners. But that's a whole different topic. But when you can't agree with what he was talking about in the video, from the little bit that we saw. You can't, disagree with, any of what he said, because it's all, a fact. And that, protection thing is comes with security. A man who is secure in himself usually has a woman who is secure in herself, and they're secure in each other, so he doesn't have to be overly protective of her. It's usually men who are insecure within themselves and usually have a woman who is secure in herself. When that over protection, you see that come about because an insecure man doesn't know how to deal with a secure woman.
Shoot, he don't know how to deal with his emotions.
Exactly. He can't deal with himself, so he doesn't know how to deal with a secure woman. So an insecure man, an insecure man has an issue with a woman making more money than him. An insecure man has an issue with his woman stepping out and looking her absolute best every single time they leave the house, and other men are looking at her whether she's fully clothed or they're at the beach. And an insecure man is going to have a problem with it. An insecure man wants his woman to look like a bum all the time and not look to her full potential. Whereas a secure man wants his woman to look like a dime everywhere they go, and he doesn't care if other dudes stare because he knows he's secure in himself, and he knows y'all can look, but you damn for sure ain't never gonna be able to touch. Ain't never, because my woman's not gonna give you the satisfaction. We're secure in each other to know that. But an insecure man, he doesn't have those same feelings. So he wants his woman to be dressed and looking like a bum all the time. He doesn't want her to look to her full beauty capacity everywhere that they go. And that sense of security is very prevalent in both a man and a woman. A woman has to be secure in herself to know that, okay, I got a man, I need to let him lead. If you are in a relationship with a man, that man is supposed to be your leader. He is supposed to be the head. And an insecure woman is going to fight him on that because she's going to always have something to rebuttal or say. But a secure woman is going to be like, okay, babe, you got that. You handle that. Yes, sir. You got that. You gonna handle that. What do you need me to do to assist you? Do you need my assistance? Because you might not need it. Do you need my assistance? No. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and be in my lane then. Let me know if you need me to help you out in any area. A secure woman knows that her man is gonna get it done.
Right.
And she's comfortable with him being the head. She's comfortable with following behind his every step because she knows he's not going to lead her astray. She knows that he is a man and that the moves he makes is going to be best for their relationship. He's going to be doing things that's going to set them on positive tracks and the right track, and it's not going to set them up for failure. It's not going to have them on, when talking to the general concept of the trap queen, the trap king and the trap queen, right? A king is going to make sure that his queen is following him in the path of absolute success, right? There's nothing that he's going to do that's going to possibly get her in trouble. Whereas the trap king, everything that he's doing, she's that liability that Tab was saying. It's gonna fall off on her. So he's taking steps and paths where now the woman has to be stepping on tippy toes and on eggshells, making sure that she doesn't crack anything to get them caught up, because he's already doing all the wrong things. So she has to make sure she's doing all the right things behind his wrong things to not further wrong them, if y'all are hearing what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely. So I want to get into this next video real quick. This man, I listened to this video and it was really, really good. It's called "Why Don't Some Women Choose the Good Guy," which is the name of this podcast. This man has a full beard, y'all. I love beards. I'm just gonna throw that out there. That's a little. That's a Tess Whitaker about me right now. Tell y'all something you don't know. I love beards. Yeah. Some of y'all might know that, some of y'all may not know that, but let's get into this video, y'all. It's a really good video. Definitely suggest you watching the full thing. We're just gonna watch like a clip of this, but yes. Okay.
And just talking to the women right now, man, it's like, are y'all ready for a dude that takes this so serious? He takes y'all family and y'all future so serious. He thinks so deep, and he has such a vision that he says, no, we got to shut some things down. We can't do this right now. We can't play right now. You know what I'm saying? We can't party in club right now. We got to focus, honey. We got to be equally yoked with each other. And that's the reason why me and my wife get along so well. Don't get me wrong. I love to spoil my wife. You know what I'm saying? I love to buy her things. And I can. But the problem is she also knows too, when Don says that it need to be done this way because it's our future is in stake, she knows that that's the plan. She has trust in me. The question is, for a lot of these women, are you willing to start trusting a man who has a good head on his shoulders? Are you willing to trust him? are you willing to trust his leadership abilities to say, yo, this is how it's going to be? You know what I'm saying? A man that's not just trying to show you the world, but a man who actually wants to give you the world. Do you feel what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to give it to you, honey. I'm not trying to, fictitious stuff. So when we 30, 40 years old, we you know what I'm saying? We pop. Nah, it ain't that situation. You know what I'm saying? And it's like a lot of women need to start putting a respect on a good man's on a dude that's good. Put some respect on his name. So do you think?
Bam, put some respect.
Look, to answer that question, no. But speaking from early, whenever people start dating, teenage years to, I would say, like mid 20s, you feel me, to like 26-ish, you feel me? No, because in our generation and time, you feel me, a lot of women don't even see positive examples of a relationship. So it's like they don't know how to really love a man, and they don't know how to be loved by a man. You're still trying to figure out yourself. You're still trying to figure out who it is that you are, and you're still still trying to figure out what type of man it is that you want. What type of woman do you want to be to attract the type of man that you want? You're still trying to figure out all that stuff from early adolescence to your mid late 20s. Right? So it's like, no, we're not ready for a man to take that lead and control, because I just don't think we know how to receive that. We don't even know who the hell we are. But women, not just women, but people jump so like, okay, so I know a lot of dudes from the hood who jump so quickly to wanting to have kids because they don't even believe they're going to make it to 21. So they get to having kids early because they want to have that legacy, because the life that they live, they don't know if they're going to live long enough to have kids after the age of 21. So they start early. Females are looking for somebody to love them so unconditionally because they didn't get it from their mom or their dad. They didn't get it from the dude that they were with. You feel me? They just want somebody to love them unconditionally. So they have a child because in their mind, they feel like this person has to love me. I carried you, I birthed you, I'm your mother, you have to love me. You have to give me unconditional love. I have to give you unconditional love. They jump to having that so early, and instead of, and it's because we don't have, we had Dr. DeLacy Davis tell us when he was on his virtual artist storytelling that the older generation before us failed us. And I believe that's so true, because like we don't have those set examples of what it means to be loved. What does love look like? How do we love ourselves? How do we display love onto somebody else? What is a real relationship? What is marriage? How does marriage last? We don't see those type of things. Our parents' generation, how many of them are actually married?
Yeah, our parents failed us. Our parents
failed us. The generation before us failed us so heavily. That's like we don't know what the hell we're doing, and so it's like we're continuing that failed cycle. What he said, like, I'm gonna have to go watch the video on my own, but enough of what we saw was perfect, and he just kind of summed up a lot of what's going on right now, because oftentimes everybody wants to be loved by somebody, but you half-ass love yourself. But you want somebody to display full affection onto you. You want somebody to give you the world, but you don't even know what world you're living in.
Right. And I just want to, real quick, I want to just go ahead and get what Mark was going to say, because there's one more video that I want to play, and then then we could just, finish it off with what you're saying, G, because you're making a lot of good points. Go ahead.
He hit home with that. He hit home with that video, just from the little bit that we saw. He hit home on so many different levels.
Go ahead, Mark.
No, I mean, just to add on, I mean, I think often, a lot of people just jump into those relationships entirely too early, especially without knowing what, love is supposed to look like. Like, it's crazy to see the amount of people that try to find love so early. And what that does is it leaves bad experience after bad experience after bad experience. So now everybody's at the point where they would rather play than get played, or rather just not mess with them at all. So then we get into this cycle where even if you know a girl is a good woman and you consider yourself a good guy, the good girl 9 times out of 10 is, and especially because a lot of these dudes are deceitful. I must just speak from a male's perspective. A lot of these dudes are deceitful and they're gonna tell you a lot of things. You feel me? So even if you're a good dude trying to approach a good female, like she's heard it all before. Oh, you said you gonna do this, that, and the third. Okay, well, my ex said that the same thing, and he ended up hurting me the same way. Yeah. So now it's like, dang, okay, obviously I can't tell you, that I'm different, and you're not letting me show you. So what, you just gonna stay hurt, and then I'm gonna stay in this toxic scenario type stuff. But yeah, we can jump into your video.
Okay. So Kevin Samuels, y'all, love this man. Somebody told me that he's annoying. I don't think so. I think he be hitting it on the head every time. So we want to get into this video because he goes in on Black women. I love when people are critical of us. I love that pushback. I think it's dope. I think we need more people to hold us accountable for the stuff that we say and do. So here we go.
I need to stop you right there. I need you to pay attention. 51% of Black men are single and childless. 64% are in the middle class. So you can go ahead and take that 1980s talking point back over to color purple land, because that shit is factually inaccurate and untrue according to Black people statistics. Go to blackdemographics.com, saying that you want to know those are white folks, then go to blackdemographics.com, Black statistics for Black people, about Black people, and they'll show you.
Well, either way, it's a lot.
So 51%. No, ma'am. See what you did? You just try to skip. See, every time I make a point, you instead of saying, "Damn, I didn't know that," you're gonna still try to be right. Instead of saying, "Bro, I didn't know that." Well, I didn't. No, ma'am. Instead of saying, "You know what, bro, I didn't know that." 51% is single and childless. That means they're unmarried, no kids, and 64% in the middle class. Damn, I didn't know that. See, what that says is there are plenty of Black men out here who are available to marry and have kids. Why can't Black women seem to get them?
What age group is that?
No, ma'am. Why? No. What marrying age? Those are the marrying age. They don't keep statistics on teenagers.
What area?
Ma'am, it's marrying age. They don't keep statistics on children. They're adult. See how you see? This is what I mean, and this is the to the previous caller who wondered what all the acrimony is between Black men and Black women. Caller, this is it right here. We got a Black woman here. I'm trying to educate her on why she's wrong on the facts. Even when I made points, she'll keep moving the goalpost. Well, give me the facts, the data, and statistics. Well, give me the who calculated them. Well, it ain't right. Look, at the end of the day, this is why so many of y'all are by yourself. They're disagreeable.
Well, we're having a conversation, but we're having a conversation.
Well, the conversation, but the conversation has to be in truth, though, ma'am. I don't mind having a conversation, but if we're just gonna have opinions, that's not really a conversation. Okay, do you believe? How about this? How about this? Let's start over. Do you believe that 51% of Black men are single and childless? Do you believe that?
No.
Okay. There you go. What percentage of Black men do you believe are single and childless?
Maybe 20%.
Okay. So by your own headspace, you reduce the effective level of Black men by roughly 60%. So now you can go and make the argument of scarcity.
It is.
No, it's not. It really isn't. Yeah. No, it's not. It really is not. See, facts are stubborn things, man. You can believe whatever you want, but facts are stubborn. Just because you don't believe 2 + 2 is 4 doesn't change the fact that 2 + 2 is indeed 4.
Well, I do believe that 2 + 2 is indeed 4.
Well, then tell me why you don't believe that 51% of Black men are single and childless. Tell me why you don't believe that fact.
Okay, I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and I've been in Atlanta for about 20 years. And there are not a lot of black.
Did I say black men in Atlanta, ma'am? Did I say black men in Atlanta, ma'am?
No, I'm saying.
No. But the stat that I said, did I say Atlanta?
You did not say Atlanta. No, you didn't.
Okay, so do you believe it based on Atlanta? Or not? See,
I have to go where.
No, ma'am. So what you need to do is because I live in Atlanta too.
Mm.
So what you're gonna need to do is tell me where you getting that 20% from.
But it's from every day.
No, ma'am. Your anecdotal eyeball experience. No, man. Your anecdotal eyeball experience does not change the Department of Bureau of Labor Statistics and the CDC. See, facts are stubborn things, ma'am. You can have your opinion, and you can be as wrong as reality. No, it's not reality. That's your twisted reality. It's your twisted reality, but it don't matter. It's twisted because you talking about bosses and being in charge of stuff, and that implies a business mind, and you can't even accept a fact. No, I just gave you a fact, and I've cited my sources, but you still won't stop.
Well, those statistics are not. Those numbers are not helping my everyday, day-to-day interaction. In real life, I'm at the grocery stores. I'm in.
Well, how about we're talking about you now. Now we talk about you. Well.
Anyway, y'all, Kevin Samuels is great. I love him. I love his videos. He cracks me up, and these women are so delusional. It is so sad. And this is the spirit that we're these are the women that we're dealing with in our everyday lives that will not believe the facts. It's and that's and listen to what he's saying. He said, "This is why all of y'all are by yourself. This is why all of y'all are single, because you guys disagree with everything. The good guy will never make it in your mind, because at the end of the day, you think that the statistics are way up here, that there's not that many single black men without kids, and that are making money, that make a very good income. You think that your pool of men is here when there's a whole world, 51% of black men that are eligible for marriage and that want children. Man, y'all should really watch his videos. I be really like, he be dragging these black women, and I think I love it, because we need somebody.
But, black women they hate to be coachable, they hate to be teachable, they hate to be changeable, and it's like, and that's why black women they question everything.
Most of them come from single parent households, though,
and that's true. And it's like, but that alone should be motivation enough for you not to want to fall into that same cycle.
Exactly.
But that alone, it should be like, I don't want to go through the same shit that I watched my mom go through as a single mother. So it's like, what do I have to change? What do I have to change to not fall into that cycle? Which, you feel me? And not saying that women fall into the cycle on purpose. No, it doesn't happen. That's not how it usually happens. But the fact is, it happens.
The fact is, we want to change. We don't want to change.
You can attest to this. You can attest to this because you got a lot of Denver people on Facebook. But it's crazy the amount of like posts that I see. Oh, you're real raw if you're not a baby dad right now. And I'm just like, I'm like, how is that even?
Like the posts that say, excuse my vulgarity with my language here, but how your pussy wet if you ain't got no kids? Y'all take stuff so crazy, like that's not even it.
I swear. But it's crazy like, how it's an accomplishment to not be a baby dad. Like
how is that an accomplishment? Like, and then it's like,
it's crazy.
Y'all are glorifying and praising something where almost, I would say, like 90% of y'all hate your baby mom and your baby dad. Y'all can't stand each other. Y'all can't even stand to be in the same room as one another.
And most of them mess with the same people. That's why the pool is so small.
That's why the pool is so small. It's crazy. The pool is so small. There are oceans,
Oh
oceans
my
full
goodness.
of qualified men, but people want to fish in the same little pond. You want to fish in the same pond, and you're wondering why you're pulling out the same type of fish. You're wondering why you're pulling out the same fish over and over because you only want to stay in one pond. You don't want to step outside of yourself and outside of your comfort zone and go find a different ocean. Screw the pond. Don't go to the lake. The river ain't going to take you far enough. Go find the ocean and fish in the ocean because there's an ocean full of qualified men out there. If that's what you're looking for. So it's like, me personally, I feel like everybody, as far as our generation goes, focus on your damn self. Focus on yourself.
It's easy to. Oh, sorry. Was not trying to interrupt you.
No, it's fine. Just focus on yourself until you are so secure and you love yourself enough to know, so you can easily point out the red flags. You don't have to be you don't have to fall victim to the generational curses that our parents fell victim to, and so that your children don't fall victim to the same generational curses, because most of the people in our from Denver anyways have kids already. So it's like, do something different.
I'm just gonna say it's easy to place the blame other places, saying there's no men around, but you got to look at where you're going to look for men. I mean, come on now.
Oh my goodness.
Where a higher grade of men would be at, there you're nowhere in that area. And so that kind of like, I could bear my experience bears witness to what she's saying, because I got to just look at myself and say, where was I looking for quality men at? I was looking for them at school, and 9 times out of 10, those people they're mentally detached from even finding anything like that, because at the end of the day, their focus is on their goals and their ambitions. So, I mean, when you have like a small box and you're like, okay, well, this is the only place where I could find men. You find a lot of the suckers and a lot of the bums, because
and the same man.
Man, you dated the same guy 5 times, but
exactly.
You're not gonna find catfish, trout, cod, all, you feel me, in one area. You gotta step outside and go into different areas. If you're looking for a shark, you're not gonna find it in a lake. You're not gonna find it in a river. If you're looking for
a whale
rainbow
or something,
trout, if you're looking for a rainbow trout, you're not gonna find it in the backyard pond. Step outside yourself and go. And for the people who don't understand figurative language, right? If you're looking for a good man, you're not gonna find it looking in the same places you've already been looking. If you always do what you've always done, you're gonna always get what you always got.
Looking for him at the club.
Change it
talk
up.
about it.
Your mom and your daddy at the club. How did that work out?
Or you met your ex at your club. Like how you meet your ex at a club and continue to go to the club and expect something different. Or they date the same friend groups. Wonder why you ain't. Or they date somebody that already got a baby. What you think is about to happen to you, shorty?
You hang around 4 millionaires, you become the 5th, right?
Okay.
You hang around 4 millionaires, you become the 5th. Birds of the same feather flock together.
They indeed do.
Where's your circle at? Who are you flocking with? Who are you hanging around? My bad, Tab. Yeah. But let's go ahead.
Okay. As always, this has been an amazing podcast. We just talked about why do the women choose the good guy last? You feel me? I won't put it all on the women necessarily, because like I said earlier, guys are full of deceit. But if we step up as a people, I believe we can get this done, because our generations before us did fail us, but that doesn't mean that we have to keep doing wrong.
Shoot, bad guys be choosing the good girl first and be thinking about turning her out. That's all I got.
That was when I was real young, though, and I'm paying for it for sure.
We're definitely gonna have to talk about that reverse.
Man, because I'm telling you, 15, man, now it's like, but hey, that's a whole nother point. But we appreciate you all for rocking with us. Please make sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms. We got Macam Make a Chess Move, Macam Make a Culture Move, Virtual Artist Storytelling, Push and Pawns. Those are all on Facebook. Then we have Instagram at Macam303. Twitter, Macam303, Pinterest, Macam303, I'm sorry. And then our YouTube, please subscribe at Make a Chess Move -Macam. And with that being said, we appreciate all of our viewers. Y'all Macam out there.
Macam.